Jai Shri Krishna. As you know, this is the 18 weeks program, and today is the session 6. So welcome everybody to healthy, happy, and peaceful life. And thank you to Swami Hariharji Maharaj. I was blessed again this morning during the session. He just came to me and we just spent whole hour together. So thank you, Guruji, for coming and blessing me. Today is the Teacher's Day. So Teacher's Day, happy Teacher's Day to all of you. And Pranam Guruji again, and blessing me, whoever I am today, with all of the books are sponsored by you. All our books are dedicated to you. And all the Gita's teachings, whatever I know, all dedicated to you and Lord Krishna. And thank you everybody for coming and joining. So today's session is Journey Beyond Meditation. Oh, I'm sorry, it is Journey Beyond, no, it is actually Journey Beyond Blissful Journey through Chakras. And ignore the previous slide because it has been. And we are going to talk about what are chakras, causes and symptoms of imbalanced chakras, why and how to balance chakras energy, and what are the unlimited benefits. And of course, favorite one, meditation. So blissful journey through chakras. We put the 7 steps again today because we are going to focus on the 7 chakras. Though there are more than 100 chakras in the body, but we are going to mainly focus on the 7 chakras. And chakras are, these are the 7 doors to open our consciousness and heal our body. It has been mainly used the Bhagavad Gita and also this book, Ultimate Happiness, Peace, and Chakras, a blissful journey. And why I put Ravi Shankar this program picture here, because he's the one who released that book in Atlanta Boom during the Ayurveda conference. And this inspiration came to me to write this book, which was released in 2014. I have been teaching the chakras for last, I will say almost 18 to 20 years now. And in 2009, I was in Ayurveda clinic in Coimbatore. And it's a very big organization, AVP, which is almost the second Ayurveda organization in India. First one is it was Kotikal, and then Kotikal got separated. 2 partners and AVP came in the picture as well. And I was teaching in the medical college over there about the chakras, because Ayurveda and chakras, they focus so much on the healing of chakras, the whole biology of the chakras, as well as Panchakoshas, Panchtattvas, all that is very much focused in Ayurveda college. And since my teachings were based on more on the medical science, on the scientific basis, so they invited me to teach in the college about the chakras. So body and soul, as we know, at least in this class, that we are nothing but a union of energy, matter and energy. As Lord Krishna says in chapter 13, verse 26, O Arjuna, whatever is born, animates or inanimates, living beings, non-living beings, all are born with the union of matter and spirit, energy. So we are made with matter and energy. Our body is a matter, Shiv Shakti. And whatever is in our body, the energy which flows, prana energy, that is the Shakti. So that's why it is called Shiv Shakti. So body and energy. And energy is made with, it's a combination of chakras and nadi system. Lot of teachings have been taken from Bhagavad Gita here because there is so much about chakras, even though it's not named as chakras, but so much information in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says over and over about tamasic, rajasic, sattvic. Focus on the middle of the forehead, union with me. All that relates to the chakras. So I always call Gita as a path to Ananda that gives us the blessings. As you can see here, this is where the chakras are located. Let me move this there a little bit. This is the location of the chakras in the body. And now you see how the energy flows in these chakras. That's why it is so important to sit straight during the meditation, because if we don't, this chakra and this energy flowing upward gets blocked or reduce the speed, and it should be continuously flowing. So what are chakras? I call them as 7 wonders of consciousness, 7 wonders of soul. However, they're the invisible. You cannot see them. We can see our gross body, but we cannot see our subtle body like intelligent, intellect, or ego, etc. But what connects this subtle body and the gross body is the pranic energy. And that pranic energy flows in the chakras. So these chakras are invisible. These are the energy centers, or I would call it energy sources. And these are the sacred energy gateways located in the very important part of the body. Like, as you saw, it's a heart, near to heart, near to head, in our endocrine system. And organs near to chakras are very affected by this energy. And these are actually the spiritual centers. I call it psychic centers, wireless connection to our body and mind. And these chakras must be in motion, like energy flows in our body. So continuously, the chakras supposed to be also moving. Like chakras, in English, it's called wheels. Wheels means motion. But if they do not move, we will get into commotion. In other words, if our energy is not flowing properly, we will get into commotions. So these are the 7 chakras. Again, today's subject is to how to go and move from one chakra and move the energy from one chakras to another chakras, all the way to 7 chakras. So these are to me, 7 doors to experiencing eternal happiness and peace, Satchit Ananda. And these are the doors which gives us the healthy body, peaceful mind, and abundance. And these are, as I said, it's a wireless connection. It connects our body, mind, and soul. And you have all heard Kundalini Shakti. The Kundalini Shakti is the same pranic energy. It is also known as Kundalini Shakti, Anandamay Shakti, Pranav Shakti, Atma. Then you might be asking a question, then why do you people say it, awaken the Kundalini Shakti? If it is pranic Shakti, then we all have the pranic Shakti. We breathe, we feel, our ears, our eyes, everything are moving based on this energy. Then why this Kundalini Shakti? The answer is very simple. The energy which we have, which is in 7 chakras, which flows automatically at to certain degree, and it operates, it helps to operate our daily life. Like we can see, we can hear, we can talk. This is all the matter of energy. If we do not have this pranic energy, we cannot do any of those things. We are the dead body. If the pranic energy leaves the body, we have nothing there. It's just the body. This pranic energy, which makes us alive. But the Kundalini Shakti is more than pranic energy. It's a full fledged of pranic energy. We have only utilized or experienced only maybe 5 or 10% of the pranic energy. But the more energy, more Kundalini Shakti, more we cleanse our chakras, the more energy comes. And we feel very energetic, not only energetic physically, we feel we are awakened, our psychic system works, we are connection with supreme power comes, and it flows through the spine. It is situated in the center of the spine, and there are 2 nadis. Main 2 nadis are here, which are the center nadi is called the Sushumna nadi, and then on the right it is called Pingla, and the left it is called Idla. And all the energy flows through these chakras. So in other words, the Kundalini Shakti is our pranic energy, which we utilize as a portion of it, but awakening the Kundalini Shakti means increasing our pranic Shakti. And when that's why it says when it's a full energy is awakened, Kundalini is awakened, person reached to a very different level, or even the chakras are awakened. So here you can see it, Pingla, Sushumna, and you see the whole network of nadis in our body. Here you can see only 3 main nadis, but the whole body, the energy flows in our body system through all these nadis, and it is called, we have 72,000 plus nadis in our body. And again, I just put it this for fun. This is like we are made of matter and energy. So here is the Shiv Shakti, male and female, Shiva and Shakti. And you can see how it is flowing and how it is, this is flowing through the, and Shiva has a head on that. At the same time, this is a very simple symbol of the pharmacy. You see the prescription, many pharmacy would have this sign of having 2 snakes and all this. And this is also representation of right and left brain energy. Basically, the center Sushumna Nadi balances the mental energy, and Pingla is more on the right, so it's a more associated with the right brain, and also the left one is Idla associated with the left brain. And one is, this is, Idla is more like, it is called Surya Nadi, and Pingla is called Chandra Nadi. But they both have to be balanced, because if there is a too much Chandra or too much heat in our body or too much coolness, we cannot perform properly. So the energy has to be balanced, and that's where the Sushumna Nadi is. So what is the relationship of body, chakras, and the endocrine system, the physiology of our body? As you can see, wherever there were chakras, all this all these nadis, or all you call it as endocrine, complete system of the endocrine system, glands. Here is the testes, ovaries. Here is the pancreas, where the insulin is made in the body. Where is the adrenal glands? Right here, which controls our blood pressure and heart rates. And here is the thymus, which is the master of our immune system, which controls our immune system. And then pineal gland, right between the eyebrows. It's on this side, you can see it. And then the master of the gland, which is the pituitary gland. And they're all responsible for our operating our body. So enzymes are produced by endocrine glands, which influence every cell, every organ, and the function of the body. They regulate our mood, our growth, metabolic system. So I basically call it our body and mind is a slave of endocrine system. So now here you can see again how the system, all these are located where the endocrine system is. Let me see if I can show. Here you can see it now. See, here is the endocrine system, and here is all the chakras. They're very adjacent. All of our adrenal glands are very adjacent to the chakras, and that's why they control our life, like our hormones control our life. This is how the chakras control our life, and they affect each other. If the chakras are imbalanced, our endocrine system will be imbalanced as well. Not only endocrine system, you look at it, they are here adjacent to, just superimposing our complete nervous system. Look at our brain side. It's controlled by the 6th and 7th chakras. Our thyroid, thyroid is situated there. It controls our metabolic system, our heart chakras, liver, lungs. All the complete digestive system is controlled by this. So question is, what imbalances our chakras? Lot of reasons. Bhagavad Gita again explains so well that any stress, fear, worry, anxiety, anger, which I have been talking about it for that all the time, and I mention it, please write it down in a book. Whatever bothers you, please, this is the key to your happiness, that you should know what are my emotions are affecting my health, because whatever our emotions are, they affect our life. So am I living in the stress, fear, worry, anxiety, anger, guilt, jealousy, attachments, ego, I-ness? Am I very selfish? I have too many selfish desires, impatience, blaming, complaining. All these affect our endocrine system and our moods, and it causes the diseases in our body, reduces our immune system. And of course, our body gets filled with toxins. I mean, look at that Arjuna, what happened to Arjuna when he got fearful, so fearful, he could not stand anymore. His body was shaking. And you relate that to the physiology of the body. His body was flooded with toxins. He was shivering. He had to sit down. Similarly, when we have a situation, sometimes we cannot stand either. We have to sit down, we have to lie down because some of the negativity has taken over on us. So imbalanced chakras cause the poor judgment, confusion, impure action, confusion. When we are confused, we cannot make any decision. Unhappy, ashanti. As again, this is my favorite verse, chapter 262 and 63 in Bhagavad Gita. And whole management school is based on this, that we have to reduce our stress. Nowadays, people talk about stress, but where the stress comes from? Dhyayato vishan punsa sangasteshu upjayate sanga sanjayate kama kama krodho vijayate. And then what happens when the krodh comes? Krodha bhavati sammoha. Sammoha is smriti vibhrama. Smriti Branchat Buddhi Nasha, Buddhi Nasha Pranshati means we forget who we are the Satchitananda, but we are flooded with all these toxins and we forget. Arjuna forgot that he was a Kshatriya and he's supposed to protect the society, no matter what he had to do, including engaging himself in the war. And when we are upset, we forget also, we forget our karma, dharma, everything we kind of forget. And then another verse in Bhagavad Gita, we all know that by heart, 16:21. Kam Krodh, it's a Kam Krodh Lobh, Narkasya Dwaram. We have to tajjet all these. Why? Because if we don't, we will be overtaken. And not only these emotions imbalance our chakras, our imbalanced life. If we work too hard, work too less, like yesterday we read, we saw in Bhagavad Gita, people cannot do the yoga. Yukta ahar, yukta viharasya, yukta chetasya karmasu. Means who eats too much, who sleeps too much, yoga bhavati dukkha. They cannot experience the sukh. They will be physically and emotionally disturbed. So balancing life means balancing our chakras. So now here we want to talk about more, and I'm going to reduce this much here. Here is a little bit more detail about each chakras. The very first chakra is called as Mooladhara chakra, where the Kundalini sits. This is the seat of Kundalini Shakti. It has the 4 petals in red color. And they should be all in motion. Sometimes the Zoom does not show. Zoom has some limitations, so it cannot show. But basically, these chakra, there is energy flowing in each chakra. And the energy of this chakra is earth. And it's called Malik Ganeshi. And I always think about why in our Shastras it says that whatever you worship, start your puja with Ganesh. Because our Ganesh is also a master, Malik of our Mooladhara chakra, where the Kundalini Shakti sits. And also it is a powerhouse because his head is elephant head, and elephant is known for the power. So it gives you all the power. But when it is our chakra is disordered, then all the organs nearby, colons, legs, low back pain, etc., fear, all these take over. But when it is active, In other words, when it is energized, it is balanced, it is purified, then we feel very secure. We don't feel fearful and we feel calm. We are more self-aware and our fear turns into faith. And this is a chakra also is known for I-ness and minus. And since it is the lower part of the body, it is also considered to be the tamasic. And the next one is sacred. Let me see if I can figure out something here. I can show something here. It's not giving me. So this is a seat of creativity. The second chakra, it is called the sacred chakra. It has the 6 petals and it is the seat of creativity. And Brahma is the Malik. Look at this. Brahma is the Malik and creativity. They both go together. It is located between the navel and also the very first chakra. And the water is the element here. And the organs nearby are ovaries, testes, all the reproductive system is related to that. So if it is, this chakra is imbalanced, the bladder, kidney, urinary tracts, reproductive organs, and emotional issues come here. We feel very emotional, but if it is balanced, then our relationship, we feel very content, we feel very gratified, but it is again I-ness and minus, and it is the lower part of the body. So it is tamasic, but now it is moving a little bit upward to the rajasic nature. And the third chakra, which is called the Manipura chakra, plexus chakra also, it is known as that. It is a 10 petals, yellow in color, situated little bit above the navel. And this is a seat of divine power and action, karma. Karma and dharma all come from this fire area, which is called the fire in the belly. And the fire is the element or the energy for this chakra. And the Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, is the Malik for this energy. So now we are moving upward. Vishnu, Lord Vishnu is also known for maintenance. And this chakra is also known as karma, dharma, maintaining our life. And it's responsible for this pancreatic gland. So the sugar level, the diabetes, etc., all are controlled by this adrenal gland near the pancreas. So when it is disordered, then our digestive system gets disturbed, ulcer, diabetes, lungs, kidney, nervousness, resentment, all that comes there. But the self-courage, self-esteem, self-confidence, self-acceptance, steadfastness, which Lord Krishna talks about in Bhagavad Gita over and over, self-determination, all the self-doubts are removed into self-trust. This is where Lord Krishna motivated Arjuna. And then he came to his rajasic nature and he says, Karishe Vachanam Tau. Then he realized that he has to do his own duty. But it took his fear out, his doubts out. And it is rajasic in nature. The fourth chakra, Anahata, heart chakra. Look at this, chakra 12. This is has the 12 petals, and Bhakti Yoga also has chapter 12, and it has the 12 petals. It's what a coincidence. There's so much relationship to this. This is I call it subliminal relationship of Bhagavad Gita and chakras. So this is a seat of love, it located center of the chest. Air is the element. Malik. Lord Shiva is the one. And thymus, immune system, adjacent to this chakra. And that's why if this chakra is imbalanced, the disorders in the heart, lung, blockage, breathing problems, high blood pressures, stress, resentment, sare gile shikwe, all are filled in the heart area. But when it is energized, then it gets filled with love and compassion. The relationship just flourishes it. Forgiveness flows from our heart. We focus on the goodness. We don't think about kisi ne kya kiya hamare saath. We just look at the goodness in people. And then peace and fullness. And then this is the center of true love. So resentment turns into a love, and this is sattvic in nature. The next chakra is Vishuddhi chakra, the throat chakra. It is blue in color, 16 petals, and it is the seat of divine voice. And you will notice that the people who sing, who speak, their fifth chakra is very active. It is located in the throat. The element is sound. And again, it's a Shiva. Now the Shiva means he is not the Shankarji here. Shiva means the non-duality, oneness. And thyroid, metabolic system, is responsible for our throat, near the throat region. It is also called as a butterfly chakra also, because it's a shape of butterfly which is situated in our throat area. But if it is a disorder, then we have a poor communication, imbalance in thyroid. You see a lot of people have the thyroid problem. They're imbalance in the enzymes of thyroxine. Depression, pain in the shoulders, neck area. But if it is activated, purified, balanced, then the self-expression, communication, honesty, then one would not lie. If this chakra is activated, even if you try to lie, you will not be able to lie, because it will just hold you back. It gives you patience. So basically this chakra gives you, it turns lies into truthfulness, and it's sattvic in nature. Ajna chakra, the Bindu chakra, which we talk about a lot for the meditation. It's the seat of divine vision. This is where Lord Vyasji gave the vision to Sanjay. So he could see the whole Kurukshetras, what was happening there. So he could explain to Dhritarashtra. So he got that wisdom with the blessing of Vyasji. And this is also called as the third eye chakra, which is located right in between of the middle eye, forehead, between the eyebrows, which is called Bindu chakra because we put the bindi over there. The light is the element. And again, Shiva is the Malik. Pineal gland, which controls our rhythm. If somebody's, Parkinson's disease, when the pineal glands get disorder, this is causes the Parkinson's disease, because body's rhythm is uncontrollable. So disorders, learning problem, focusing problems, sleeping problems, vision problems, focusing, all these are caused of non-impure or imbalanced chakra. But when it is focused, then you get focused, you get the energy, you get the vision. You would not know all of a sudden where this vision is coming from, because your chakra is open. And with this chakra, you can not only see your vision for the moving forward, you can see past, where your life has come and where you are and how to move forward. You see all the past, present, and future right through this chakra. So self-knowledge. So one becomes from defocus to focus. And again, it is a sattvic in nature. And now the crown chakra, master of the chakras, which has the 1,000 petals. It is seat of pure consciousness. This is where the supreme power sits there. It is on the top of the head, right there, like a cap. You put the cap on your head, like that's why it is called the crown chakra. It is beyond all the elements. So there is no 5 elements here, like earth, water, Thank you. So, seventh chakra, the crown chakra, with 1,000 petals, seat of pure consciousness, located on the top of the head, which is beyond of all the elements, earth, water, fire, air, space, light, all the beyond 5 elements, because there are no elements remain, because it's a oneness with the supreme power. And also look at the coincidence of the body. It is located nearby pituitary gland, master gland, and the crown chakra is the master. But if it is disorder, we get a lot of headaches, a lot of mental diseases. But if it is activated, we get that knowledge. It's like somebody is pouring on your head. So when it is balanced, then we experience who we are, where did we come from, how to experience our Satchit Ananda. So this is basically the summary of all the chakras. And I have this in the back of the book, right in the very last page of the book, which is one can take it out and put it on their refrigerator just to refreshen their memory that what this first chakra means and what second chakra represents and third chakra. So it's basically a summary of it. So now, how to recognize the status of the chakras through color in our body. The red color, as you can see, the lower part of this is all the Mooladhara chakras. Orange chakra, the second chakra, the third chakra, the yellow chakra, the fourth chakra is the green, which is also shown as a green color, pink color also. And then gradually it turns to the blue. So how you can not only recognize your own chakras, but you can recognize other people's chakras. You know, certain days we are more prone to certain colors. We want to wear that particular color. We want to eat that particular color of food, etc. Because that color is dominating in our body. Sometimes we speak so much, means our throat chakra is dominating. Sometimes we are so calm, our heart chakra is dominating. So our chakra's energy changes because it's continuously moving. It's not like today I am in the sixth chakra, so I'm in the sixth chakra all the time. No, energy moves and with our emotions, with our activities. So similarly, sometimes we feel very energetic, but the other time we don't feel energetic because it's the matter of the energy in the chakras. So how to recognize the status of other people's chakras? It's a fun game. You know, a good exercise when we go to sometimes the parties and you notice that some of the people are wearing the same color of clothes, and it happens in every single party. Some people will have a more red color or green color or all that color dominates in that party because these people's conscious level is at very similar or in the same energy. They're floating with the same energy. So how to balance the chakras? There are many different ways to do it. Food is one of the major things. All these chakras have a different color, so we should make sure we eat all color of food, like tomatoes, strawberries, oranges, green vegetables, berries, all these berries, we should eat all those kind of food. We should do the yoga. We should, and all these massages, different massages, pranayam, Reiki, all these, whatever balances the energy in the body or gives us, removes our stress. Bottom line is chakras are imbalanced and they release stress. So whenever we are stressful means our chakras are imbalanced, then we cannot sleep at night. We have all these kind of problems, as you can see it here. When we are angry, we are upset, we have whatever the negativity we are carrying, it affects our energy on our chakras, and then we have to release that stress with all these means. One of the best yoga sun salute, Surya Namaskar. See, look at very first one, pose of the Surya. See how it affecting the Muladhara chakra. Then now by bending, it is also helping our second and third chakra. Look at this here, expanding the chest, helping the fourth chakra, the heart chakra. Now look at this one, neck is down. This way. So it is also affecting our fifth chakra. And here is also fourth chakra, fifth. So any pose you do, it will affect all of our chakras. But here is basically showing the domination. And then, so how to balance the energy? So remedies, food, massages, this is the summary of it. So yogas, asanas, meditation, chakra cleansing, affirmations, prayers, all this works. And this is how it balances our strengthens our immune system, which we really need it nowadays. So by balancing the energy, we do activate all of our glands and especially build our strong immune system. So these are the unlimited benefits from every level. Here I put it more from the physical body, from the physiology of the body, like endocrine system, and more on the lactic acid because it causes the stress, etc. It's more on the DMT. One should know about this DMT part. DMT is the drug which is very popular in the world. People take it to calm themselves, but our body, our sixth chakra releases it. We all know LDL, harmful to heart, enzymes, HDL, antioxidants. All these are beneficiary by balancing the chakras. And of course, it balances our mind, emotions, and connects us to the supreme power. So we develop more forgiveness, more balance our energy, humbleness, and then we just let go. Things don't bother us that much. So we are moving more toward the samta, equanimity, which is eventually takes us to samadhi. And it is said very beautifully, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan manogatan atnev atmana tushta sthit pragasya do uchate. Gita calls it sthit pragya. We develop the sthit pragna, which is equanimity from all the emotions. And of course, these are many, many benefits here. But look at this beautiful part. Look at the structure of this Ingla, Pingla, and Sushumna. Look at this. It matches with our DNA of the body. So when some genes are mutant, you know, कहते हैं ना family में problem है या generation में problem है, there are some heredity problems in the diseases due to the DNA and genes, even they get healed. Mutancy disappears and they get healed. So in summary, it gives us, we enjoy the word. In other words, we have a healthy body, healthy mind, peaceful mind, calm mind, and of course, union with supreme power, Satchit Ananda. So ultimately, I call it, you become the self-healer of your body, mind, and soul. Awaken the pharmaceutical factory in our body because we are the pharmaceutical factory. All of our glands, endocrine system is the pharmaceutical factory which produces the enzymes and all the hormones. Like look at the insulin, which is a good example. Pancreas produces as insulin. In heart, HDL, the good hormones are produced. Bad are produced also because it's an energy is imbalanced, but the good hormones are produced. Thyroxine in the throat through the system is produced. So our thyroid gland works, so there are no metabolical problems. So every enzyme and every hormone which or every medicine which take it from outside our body is produced. We take the medicines to substitute those elements, like insulin is taken because body is not producing proper insulin. So by balancing the chakras, we develop self-awareness, transformation. We have a healthy body, loving heart, peaceful mind. And then we know who we are. We are truly a Satchitananda because we totally are connected. So we activate our pharmaceutical factory as well as we experience the union with supreme power. And there is another practice on, and this chart also is given. It is a 7-day chart for how to practice the chakras. Each day, what we should be practicing. Like first day, we practice the first chakra, root chakra. Second day is this self-awareness, fearlessness. Second chakra, the creativity, the self-control, the calmness. The third chakra is the courage chakra, self-esteem. So these are all this heart chakra, which is the seat of love and compassion. So we develop love and compassion. Fifth chakra, which is a seat of truthfulness, communication. So we learn to express better. And then third chakra, of course, the seat of peace, wisdom, vision. And then seventh chakra, the final, I call it the top floor of the John Hancock building in Chicago. You know, that's basically, to me, that's, or Kailash Mansarovar, you know, you just go there and this is where the crown chakra is to me. And there you develop the total silence. There are no more mantras, no more affirmations, it's a total silence. And these are, I just put a summary of the verses which I have taken it from, and there are many, many verses I have taken from Bhagavad Gita. And here is a chapter 8, 10, chapter 12, 13, 14, chapter 2, 55, 55, and then chapter 15, 55. Many verses have been taken from Bhagavad Gita. So thank you very much for joining and attending and helping me to learn more about chakras as well by speaking about it.